All right. Thank you guys so much for your patience with us this evening. We just need a little bit of additional time to get ready for tonight's meeting and deal with a couple of issues related to board business in our executive session, which transpires before we come down each and every board meeting. But it's my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome each and every one of you here in attendance with us and online to our October 21st board meeting. I'm looking forward to this evening engaging with all of you, receiving questions and comments from the public, as well as conducting our normal round of business with our board commissioners. I'll now read a roll call of the board to identify who is present with us here and who is virtually, as we have a couple of colleagues joining us virtually. We ask that you identify yourself first before speaking for the record, and I'll go through the roll call for each vote tonight. Vice Chair Parker.
Vice Chair Parker present.
Thank you. Commissioner Ames Messenger. Thank you. Commissioner Chicas Guzman. She's here. She'll be back. We'll get her. This is our student commissioner. She'll be with us shortly. Commissioner Coy may be virtual.
Commissioner Coy present.
Excellent. Welcome. Commissioner Esposito.
Commissioner Esposito present.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Mohammed.
Commissioner Mohammed, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Redding Lollinger will be joining us later this evening virtually. Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Scott Woodruff president.
Thank you. Commissioner Simmons. Oh, he's coming to see. So that still counts. It still counts. We're glad you're here with us. And Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Commissioner Slater Harrington present.
Great. Welcome, welcome. And I'm also present. Is there a motion to reopen tonight's meeting?
So Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. Is there a second?
Second Parker.
Messenger second.
Ooh, now lots of vivacious. I'll take Commissioner Vice Chair Parker for this one. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Ames Messenger?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman. Sorry about that. She's not here yet. Commissioner Coy?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. Thank you, and I'm in favor. This motion passes. Join me, all of us, in standing in recognition of the JROTC from Forest Park Senior High School for our opening. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to our young people from Forest Park Senior High School. We appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve the prior open session minutes?
So moved.
I'll take Commissioner Simmons on the first, and the second was Esposito.
Yeah.
All right, great. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Coy.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. This motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the closed session summaries?
So move Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Commissioner Coy.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. This motion passes. Once again, I'd like to welcome everybody to our October 21st public board meeting this evening. We wanted to first take the opportunity to thank all of our city schools family, including our teachers, our young people, our community for supporting a really robust opening to the school year. And as we reflect on the first quarter closing, we, as board colleagues, have had an opportunity to visit schools, to talk to parents, receive comment on how the school year is going. We also want to provide an update this evening as we get started on how to ensure our full community can be engaged in more of the work that's going to transpire coming up this year. First, starting off with in this month, in November, the annual review of schools process will begin. During this time, the board evaluates the school academic and operational performance, engaging leadership and staff performance, and discussing strategic plans for continuous improvement. We'll make sure that the full dates are posted for the public as there's an opening session that is open to the public to hear more on the presentations of that annual review. We encourage the public to participate. The board holds several briefings to share information and provides opportunity for input. Another way, I'm going to turn it to our policy chair, Commissioner Esposito, to update a little bit on a policy update that we'll be talking about this evening.
Another way community members can get involved is by sharing their thoughts on board policy using our board policy feedback form. You can visit the board policies webpage on the city schools website to find policies currently under review. When you find a policy that interests you and view our full calendar, simply open the form, select your desired policy, type in your feedback and contact information, and submit. Submissions will be reviewed by district personnel and other subject matter experts. And we do take those things into consideration when we're discussing policy. So we appreciate your feedback.
Thank you so much. And tonight we'll have a presentation on an update on our efforts to streamline our policies, as well as what to anticipate in the year ahead. Next, we just want to remind the public that we've got more information on our board newsletter, more information about subscribing to School Board Beat. The Board Beat provides key information and resources about the board news, events, meetings, achievements of the community engagement, and more. And lastly, we still do encourage our public to provide more information and comments to the board via the board office. Before I transition to the rest of the agenda, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that Dr. Santelises is out this evening. We welcome our Chief of Staff, Allison Perkins Cohen, here at the desk with us tonight. We appreciate just her time with us here and guiding us through from the CEO's perspective. So thank you. Is there a motion to approve the personnel, employment, and payroll?
So moved, Esposito.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Scott Woodruff.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Coy.
Gladly, yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. Yes, thank you, and I'm also in favor. Thank you. This motion passes. I'll now turn it over to Chief of Staff, Allison Perkins Cohen for CEO comments.
Thank you, Board Chair. I'm happy to be here tonight. And first thing I'm going to do is welcome Chief Emily Nielsen here to read the PEP.
Thank you, Chief Perkins Cohen. Good evening, Commissioners. On tonight's PEP agenda, appointments from the Office of the Chief Human Capital Officer recommended that Ayanna Blunt Patterson, currently Executive Assistant Human Capital, be appointed Special Assistant Human Capital effective November 1, 2025. Recommended that Nikisha Small, currently Senior Counsel, Office of Legal Counsel, be appointed Director of Negotiations effective November 1, 2025. From the Office of the Chief of Schools, recommended that Brian Thomas, currently Assistant Principal at Roland Park Elementary Middle, be appointed Coordinator Health and Human Services, Health and Specialized Services, effective November 15th, 2025. And from the Office of the Chief Executive Officer, appointment, Yusuf Ahmad, currently Senior Advisor, Howard County Government, be appointed Board Executive with the Board of School Commissioners, effective November 15th, 2025. Congratulations to everyone on tonight's PEP agenda.
Great, thank you. And congratulations to everybody who is on the PEP. So tonight I want to start by celebrating our newest cohort of Distinguished District Administrators. Leadership at the district level is about creating the conditions that allow schools, teachers, and students to thrive. These leaders work to ensure that every decision, resource, and partnership moves us closer to our shared vision of excellence for all of our students. Each of our distinguished district administrators has demonstrated dedication, strategic leadership, and a deep commitment to service. They lead with purpose and model what it means to serve our schools and communities. So I'd like to invite Pizzazza President Carl Perry. Is Carl here? Oh, you're so bad. I didn't see you. Carl Perry to join me in presenting certificates to this year's Distinguished District Administrators. Go around.
The board is gonna join. We're going to join you.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, good. All right, so our first district administrator is distinguished. Sorry, I left out the important word. Distinguished district administrator is Katie Meath, who's a school success liaison for literacy. Is Katie here? Okay, and our next distinguished district administrator is Miss Smitha Viswanathan. There's Smitha. Education Specialist 2 in mathematics. Say it again. Smitha Viswanathan. I apologize. And our last distinguished district administrator is Jessica Chambers, Educational Specialist 2 for Fine Arts, who I had the opportunity to meet just recently, who was at a Friend for Public Arts event and was being commended there for her work in terms of helping the Friends of Public Art get art in our schools. So Oh, actually, we were going to do a group photo. I forgot about that. Can you all, are they all here? Yeah, sorry, again, don't do this very often. Okay, and the last item I wanted to talk about was our project related to part of our district office workplace improvement initiative that you've been seeing around the building. So we've been really working on trying to make our district office building more welcoming to visitors, more supportive of our staff and their work. And we've been particularly focusing on public facing spaces as well as commonly used spaces from our staff. So this room is an example of that work. The lobbies you see, the new bathrooms throughout the building, the enhanced security with the swipe cards when you come into the building. We've redone 301, which is a space that everybody uses, as well as the CEO's large conference room and small conference room, because we use those a lot for larger meetings. So now we're starting kind of the next phase of our district office improvement, which is implementing a project to install ADA compliant wayfinding signage to make the district office building more welcoming, safe, and accessible to staff, visitors, and strengthening our building security. So the signage in this building has not changed since I started here, which was 2011, and it wasn't terribly accurate then. So it's definitely not very accurate now. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that it actually tells you where to go and that it's correct. So we're also working on the room numbers, which don't make a lot of sense right now. They don't really follow an order. So they will now actually follow an order that you can follow. So we're really looking forward to this change. It will, again, make our building more welcoming to families, more welcoming to our staff, and just more navigable for everybody. So excited about that. So there will be, we're expecting that to happen in November. So please, I appreciate your understanding as we implement the new system, and look forward to it. So that concludes my remarks for the evening.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. Moving on to our next course of business is item 9.01 this evening, which is the consent agenda. I'll now review the consent agenda. Board colleagues, please let me know if you would like any item removed, and please state your question for staff. 9.02, the Public School Administrators and Supervisors Association contract. 9.03, the update and progress of board rules. This is one I mentioned to our audience and board colleagues earlier that we are going to pull this item for presentation and vote this evening. 9.04, academic FY26 supplemental appropriations. 12.01, the Children's Guild Public and Private Partnership. 12.02, Curriculum Associates LLC contract increase. 12.03, Walk Education. 16.01, Teach for America, Teacher Recruitment and Support. 19.01, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, Mayor and City Council of Baltimore Youth Opportunity Fund. Right, hearing none from board colleagues, just want to double check. I will now turn it over to the Vice Chair who's going to lead us through public comment this evening.
Good evening, everyone. We will now move to public comment. Public comment is shared by our district recognized groups and the general public. Representatives from our recognized groups will have the opportunity to share public comment first for 5 minutes each. Afterwards, the general public may share. First, we will have Science Messiah representing the Associated Student Congress for Baltimore City by video.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Cyrus Messiah and I serve as an ad hoc member of ASCBC. I'm also currently a senior at Baltimore Design School. This evening, I'd like to share some updates on ASCBC's work in student advocacy and engaging students across Baltimore City. But before I begin, I want to sincerely thank the school board for this opportunity to come out here and speak. It's a pleasure to be here as this is my first time giving testimony. I'm truly grateful for the chance to represent my student congress in the best way possible. So to start off, our next General Assembly will be held November 17th. We would love to have members of the school board join us. At this event, we will introduce the new ASCBC board members to the student body, gather feedback from students across the city to speak on issues that matter to them, and help prepare students who want to take on leadership roles and make a positive impact on their schools. True student government. We at ASCBC are excited for this General Assembly and for a strong start to the year. Over the past 2 months, ASCBC's standing committees have begun meeting and starting their work for the school year. We've been also recruiting members from a diverse range of students with different levels of familiarity with ASCBC to encourage broader student engagement in both our committees and student governments overall. This year, ASCBC aims to strengthen communication between students and the board to engage more students across the city. We will also expand involvement with MASC and other organizations to ensure Baltimore City students are represented not just locally, but to the state level. Student feedback will be central to shaping our advocacy efforts and ensuring we address the issues that matter most to students. We hope the school board will continue to support us in these efforts, and we are truly grateful for the board's work last year and look forward to collaborating this year as we advocate for our students. Thank you so much for your time and consideration, and thank you so much for being a part of our journey towards positive change. Thank you.
Thank you, Science, if you're listening. Next, we will have Sherry Brown representing the Baltimore Teachers Union in person. Hello.
Make sure.
Oh, yeah, hit your mic. Yes.
Oh, one more time.
Make sure it's green.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, school board commissioners and guests. My name is Sherry Brown, and I am on external assignment as a PSRP member and I am the elected PSRP chair with the Baltimore Teachers Union. I've spoken to the board several times to address the concerns of BTU bargaining unit members, especially PSRPs. In March of this year, I spoke on several topics ranging from working conditions, personnel harassment by administrators, and the transfer fare. Just a year ago to this very day, I spoke via video and asked you, who am I? During my public comment. In that video, I listed several members of the PSRP, and for those who aren't aware of what the acronym stands for, it's paraprofessional, school-related personnel, and the various jobs and responsibilities we have in order to provide professional services and support to students, parents at our work sites in the district. In some of my other previous comments, I've asked for fair wages and for the district and schools to provide the necessary tools for paras to properly and professionally perform their job responsibilities. I've even spoke on unsafe conditions in buildings such as the elevators, rodents, and so forth. I feel that each time I speak before the board, my concerns or comments are in vain with no resolve in sight. Only one time did a director reach out to me concerning the elevator issues in our schools. Whether or not they've been addressed, I really don't know at this time, but I will make it my mission to get that answer. But I do know, and what I do know, is that there are still office staff facing harassment by administrators. I know they are being asked to do unreasonable tasks with deadlines and without proper tools to complete them. I know there are atmosphere for staff, students, and parents despite the smiling that they endure during the day, they still have to carry on and report some to a part-time job. I personally know what it is like to live paycheck to paycheck, and yet to be at the top of my pay scale and still needing to work part-time. That is my reality. And as I sit before you today, I know that I've commented on asking the district to give support staff a fair wage compensation, of which it was asked long before the state of today's economy. I know many of you may not hear me, see me, or care to respond to me. And I know as I sit before you, many of you are looking on your phones or your computers. But we all walk the same path of a fairness by the district, by administrators. Why can't you see us? Why can't you hear us? We support the district, the schools, and the parents. And with that being said, I would like to read some of the letters submitted by Paris in the office. Dear Dr. Santelises, I don't know how much time I have. I'm grateful for yet another school year. There was one major challenge I personally say that I faced. Student verification is one of the major challenges since it was implemented this school year to go into effect. But when it depends on a parent's end to complete something, it is not always in the best outcome. Learning about this seems very smooth and easy until you actually have to sit in front of the computer and get a parent started. I believe the intentions of this new strategy is idea, but in reality, this faces many challenges because not all parents have access to technology and not all parents understand the process of how to edit something online. I've heard that there will be training on this soon, just to refresh. I hope this clears up any confusion in this area. Good morning. This is what happens when you have many jobs that have been sitting. This is my very first time as a school secretary, and it was very hard. It is still sometimes. I would like to say that there is bullying by one of my APs and sometimes the principal. There is bad lack of communication between everyone. You know that when you are told you're lying or I don't believe you to get a task done, it has no to get a task done that has no direction and no help with the task. You have to continue to do it and get it wrong until you get it right. To whom it may concern, I've been a secretary for over 20 years for Baltimore City Public Schools. During those years, I've had good days and bad days. It seems like after COVID-19, things change, but we have very little resources. Baltimore City is going to upload student documents, but we have very little resources for scanning into the system. We need better phone pieces for the phone. This will help make our job easier. Okay, let me see if I can find a short letter. Thank you for your years. Dear Dr. Santelises, thank you for your years of service to the school community. You've shown your strength and dedication to our scholars. Your role is not for the faint of heart, and you have served us well. I wish you the very best of luck, and remember, you always have a home and because I promised anonymity, I'm not going to say the school. And a lot of the things you guys did touch on about visiting schools, we ask that if you can to visit a school, sit in the seat of a secretary or a para, answer the phones and see what they're saying and how they multitask. That's all. All we ask is to give us the tools we need to do our jobs and to hashtag make it make sense. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have Devin Sutherland representing the Parent and Community Advisory Board by video.
Good evening, Chair Sally, Vice Chair Parker, and esteemed Board of Commissioners, Dr. Santelises, and members of the community. My name is Devin Sutherland. board appointee by Disability Rights Maryland of the Parent and Community Advisory Board, otherwise known as PCAB for Baltimore City Public Schools. PCAB was established by Maryland law to ensure that parents and the community have a direct voice in shaping the future of Baltimore City Public Schools. Our purpose is to advise the CEO and this board on how families, educators, and community partners can collaborate to help our students succeed. On behalf of our members, I thank you for the opportunity to provide an update. Since our last presentation, PCAB committees continue to meet regularly. We've been intentional about aligning our committee work with the priorities raised during our recent private meeting with Dr. Sanselises, especially around special education, transportation costs, and parent voice in decision-making. With specific focus to special education and students with disabilities, Dr. Sanselises emphasized that one of the most critical areas of unfinished work is strengthening services for students with disabilities. Under Dr. Lori Lynn Sutton and Chief Joan Dabrowski's leadership, meaningful progress has begun, but continued collaborations across teaching and learning, schools office, and and special education remains essential. PCAB echoes this priority. Families continue to share challenges navigating IEP supports, transportation, and placement decisions. We look forward to contributing family-driven solutions as the district continues this work. Dr. Sanselises challenged us to ask the question, which decisions matter most to families? She noted that families often feel unheard in school budgeting, a recurring theme PCAB is taking seriously and working with the budget team around engagement. We plan to explore ways to make family input more valuable and meaningful, ensuring parents understand how their feedback translates into action. PCAB remains committed to strengthening the partnership between families and district leadership. We're also working to increase representation of multilingual families and parents of students with disabilities within PCAB membership and engagement spaces. Our Safety and Wholeness Committee, led by Corey Witherspoon, is also coordinating efforts around telehealth access, student well-being, and family outreach. As Dr. Sanselises transitions, we echo her words, families are the foundation. PCAB will continue ensuring that family and community voice help shape the district's next chapter, especially around inclusion, transparency, and equity for every student. Our next public meeting will take place on Thursday, November 20th at 6:30 p.m. and will be live streamed on YouTube. We invite all families, educators, and community members to join us. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Carl Perry, President of the Public School Administrators and Supervisors Association.
Not yet. Not till that green button goes on.
Now it's start.
Now we can start. Good evening, Board Chair Sally, Vice Chair Parker, Commissioners, and Chief Perkins Cohen. First, I'd like to thank Vice Chair Parker for joining us this past Friday at the Pizzazza Fall Conference. It was truly, truly wonderful having you there. We invite you again next year.
All right.
Okay. Next, I'd like to thank our CEO and especially Dr. Tosay for the pause in the school visits. People don't understand what it's like to open a school and to begin a school year and to really get into the work of it, but to be inundated by so many people, so many requests. It was tremendous, tremendously impacting our members and the work that we're trying to do. So I'm meeting with Dr. Tosay bi-weekly now, and she listens, and I really appreciate that. I truly do. So do our members. There's been an inordinate amount of work that's thrust on principals to capture and counter everything. We understand the need to capture data, but we also you also have to understand the need for us to get the work done. And I'm referencing smart sheets. Smart sheets where there are incident reporting forms. If there's an incident that takes place, our administrators have to sit and put all the information in. I talked to one administrator who said, and I've said this in the past, you know, a fight can take 3 hours to resolve. It could take the entire day because you have to find out everything that's going on, what's taking place. But you also have to make sure the fight does not grow the next day and the next day. So it takes a lot of additional work. But to sit and put every single situation into the incident reporting forms, it's taking too long. And it's too much of an expectation. I know we want to capture all the information, but we also have to be realistic. I'm also going to ask about a pause or a type of pause in regards to some of these frivolous anonymous investigations. If a person's not willing to sign their name or give that information, we need to take a second look and say, well, you know, could this be true? Because whistleblowers are supposed to be protected. So people should feel free and comfortable to share their names. As we start to mature in the field, you know, I was just referencing how short of a time I've been associated with city schools. It's only 33 years, right? But I say that to say, I have a wealth of knowledge, historical knowledge about Baltimore City schools, a wealth of knowledge. And there are a lot of our administrators who have that knowledge as well. So let me just say it this way. Let's not push some of our senior principals out. Let's not say, are you tired? If you're tired, you know, maybe you want to step away, because we're not saying that to teachers. We're not going to say, if you're a senior teacher, you know, maybe you should take a step away. We're not going to say, well, senior leadership, you know, if you're older, maybe you should step away. There's some people who made some comments. Some people made some comments. And I've just heard about some other comments Friday afternoon, which were concerning. I'm going to share them with Chief Tosay on our Monday meeting. I'm just thinking about what's the guy's name? Pete Hedgepeth said. Yeah. What he said to the generals, how he insulted the generals and saying, if you don't like it, get out. Let's just be cautious in what we say to people, and especially administrators, just anybody. Let's not just say administrators. You know, I heard the young lady talk about PSRP. You know, when I leave here, one of my children is a member of PSRP, proud member, but I had to take her a computer cord because she needs a computer cord for, you know, to get her work done. But I'll do that when I leave here. I'm going to end with this story. Years ago, my princess was on the wood chips. She was 4 years old. She was standing on the wood chips and somebody pushed her off. Little boy pushed her off. Years ago, she was 4 years old. This was 22 years ago. I didn't have hair, by the way, but I was still the same passionate father. I was a passionate father, still am, passionate grandfather, by the way. And I said to myself, I said, well, who's this pushing my child? He could have hurt her. Let me go deal with him. He was 4 years old as well. Of course I couldn't, but I had the restraint. I understand that you can't deal with everybody, you know, as a parent and a child. Unfortunately, some of our parents don't understand that. Unfortunately, we've been asking for a parent code of conduct for the past 3 years. We still don't have it. I spoke to a principal who was in the middle of the street, keeping a parent from attacking a child. And I said to the principal, I said, wait a minute, you have to watch that as well, because you don't want this parent going back at home and saying, this person put their hands on me, and then you're the next victim. We need a parent code of conduct. We need to address some of the disruptive behavior that some parents, not all, because we've got great parents in city schools, great parents, but we have some who don't demonstrate that restraint. They don't demonstrate that, and they're making it violent for everybody. More so violent behavior from the parents than some of the children. We have to address it, because our school leaders, they're getting tired of that. They're not getting tired of the work. They're getting tired of that. You know, I went to an elementary school, and from the front door all the way to the hallway is open. So if you're stopping a parent and trying to work with the parent, and then you're trying to work with somebody else, and that parent busts past you and runs to try to go attack a child, they do that because they can get away with it. I don't know if there's a no arrest policy in the district right now, but some of our principals are concerned about that. And we're not saying arrest everybody, but if you disrupt the learning environment, if you make it a dangerous situation, you have to be dealt with. have to be dealt with because we're teaching our children no matter what. They're always looking.
Mayor, if you could wrap up your comments.
Sure can. I'm still requesting that President Brown of the BTU and I sit with the Board of Commissioners on the final 3 interview of candidates for the next CEO. We're not asking to be in the decision-making process. We're asking to be a part of the process so that we can give our input and so that we can also collaborate on who's going to develop the plan for the next 10 years, hopefully, of the school district. We don't want to be a part of the decision-making process, but we're also experts in our field. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening and please be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Next, we have Sheila Billups, Chair of the Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee.
Good evening, Chief of Staff, Chair, Vice Chair,
Well,
those in the room, and those that are virtual. Good evening, everyone.
Good.
I don't even know where to begin. First comment, about the surveys that you sent. First of all, I want to thank for the conversation that we had. It was very, progressive. But the surveys that you sent out for the parents to fill out, you could only pick 1 or 2. When some of them, all of them met across the board, the categories was very important.
I just want to clarify, can you specify which?
The surveys, the little square that we filled out, those.
Maybe the CEO.
For the CVO search, that's what we talking about, CEO search, I'm sorry, please forgive me. That's the survey about the CEO search. And some of the categories, some of them meant quite a deal to me, but you can only pick one or the other. So that survey I had issues with, but the conversation was good. We now have our brochures in Spanish, and anyone need any other language, you can contact, especially at my office, and contact me, because I want every child that's receiving specialized education, parents and the student to receive a brochure, because we have services and help for them. And we want them to be able to understand what we have to offer. The Disability Rights in CCAT is doing a charter life course. This course starts around 14 and goes through to 21. What this course does is help them to support their IEP decision-making for transitioning. When they finish this particular work group and the data, we will point them in the directions and towards transitioning to when they become 21, so they can be profitable in society with their gift, because they all have a gift. Everyone has a gift. Next month, speaker for November the 13th, November the 10th, upstairs, 3rd floor, room 301, will be an overview about the 504 plan. Mr. Wendy Barnes, and then we have the overview of the department, Director of Department of People Transportation. That's a new word, so I'm still learning, but it's called the Director of the Department of People Transportation. That would be Ms. Jacinta Hughes, and we're going to talk to the parents and those involved about those 2 very important, significant needs for the children that's receiving services. Also, making it clear, when we have our public meetings, we have not enforced it up until now, there will be a mute. And if you have a comment or question, you can put it in the chat. We will unmute you and we will let you have your say. It was disruptive at the last meeting, and we're going to be intelligent. We're going to be very respectful, and we're going to be very supportive, whether we're going to do it in a proper manner. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Any questions? Wendy Barnes that will be. The date is November the 10th, and I have a flyer for you if you want it. Thank you. And anybody that knows anybody need Any of these? I haven't.
Yeah, I'll take.
Okay, I'm gonna play some daily, pay some over.
While we're transitioning, we're going to go into the general public comment. And our first commenter will be Wendy Bozell, a teacher, with the topic improving attendance in Baltimore City schools.
Hi, thank you so much, school commissioners and chief of staff. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I first want to say a short little story. I'm a home and hospital teacher, so I'm assigned to a hospital. And so every day I see students who have been paralyzed. I've had 6 students that are paralyzed. And when you walk into a room and a kid's just finding this out, it just has changed my whole life. When I found out that they were absent 50 to 100 days, I just believe if we will check on our students and have them go to school, that they won't be shot and they won't be paralyzed. And I don't want to see another kid have to go through that again. And that's why I'm here. When you look at the statistics, we have 45 to, and I saw up to 54% of students that are chronically absent. The statewide average is 27%. Chronic absenteeism should be our #1 focus here for Baltimore City schools. So it doesn't matter how good the schools are if the kids aren't attending. I'm very upset that we're the only district that doesn't follow a Maryland code for education at 7301. And basically it states that regular school attendance is required for children 5 years of older and under 18. And there also comes with it a charge of misdemeanor. And then if the child is 3 days absent without any reason, it's $50 a day. The second offense, it's $100 a day a parent is responsible for. And the third is you could be charged $500 or actually put in jail. Not that I want us to follow this, but we could at least put something on our website saying Maryland Code of Education says this, so that a lot of our parents don't understand that it's against the law for kids not to go to school. I think we need to educate our parents. Then I was very disappointed when I heard all the efforts of the whole child at the last meeting, and there was no mention of attendance. We need to start addressing the whole child. The whole child is getting the child to school, transportation. Some kids don't have uniforms. Some kids work at night. So we need to address those issues so that we can help these kids make it to school. Then I feel like school choice is also an issue, because one of the main reasons for kids not to make it to school is transportation. We should make sure all schools are a good choice. Then I think we could come up with some good ideas. And there's a lot of things out there that won't cost our district anything. In Florida, what they do is they have a program where they match students with seniors at a senior center. And that senior calls the student every morning who's chronically absent and encourages them to go to school. Even if they don't pick up the phone, they know someone cares about them and is calling about them and is wanting them to go to school. So that's pretty easy to implement and a great thing to start. There's also one, I think it's in New York, maybe. For perfect attendance, if half of the year you have perfect attendance, I think we could give the students like a free ticket to a Ravens game, maybe have an attendance where they go on the field and get recognized for their perfect attendance. And then at the second half of the year, have an Orioles game. I think we'll find a lot more kids coming to school if they have some incentives like that. Okay. I have many more ideas, and maybe I could send those to you. That would be just do it to the board office.
Yep.
Thank you very much. It's a passion that I really want all of our kids to go to school.
I
Thank you for
appreciate
your
coming
time.
and sharing more. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
We will have Alicio Magos Gonzalez, a community organizer, manager at Maryland League of Conservation Voters. The topic will be electric school buses.
Good afternoon, Board of Commissioners. My name is Eliseo Magos Gonzalez, and I'm the Community Organizing Manager for Chispa Maryland, a program of the Maryland League for Conservation Voters. Our work ensures that Latino community has a strong and powerful voice in the environment movement. For over 3 years, we worked We work with students and family to protect their health and our environment by reducing pollution from diesel school buses in Baltimore City. 7% of our children ride these buses every day, breathing toxic emission that harms their lungs and worsens asthma. Through our Clean Buses Healthy Niños campaign, we're calling for a transportation of zero emission electric school buses because every child deserves to breathe clean air on their way to school. First, I want to thank Commissioner Rating Leginger, Commissioner Esposito, and Commissioner Ames Messenger, who has taken the time to meet with us to share updates on the current fleet of electric school buses. I also want to express my appreciation to transportation directors and the commissioners for their commitment to releasing the performance report on the current electric school buses. We are eagerly looking forward to reviewing this report and understanding how the district is addressing any challenges or lessons learned to ensure the continued success and expansion of their electric school bus fleet. Today, I'm here to urge the board to take a bold and necessary step toward fully electrifying our school bus fleet by developing a comprehensive implementation plan, one that includes a clear timeline, identify resources, and the infrastructure needed to make clean, zero-emission transportation a reality for our students and communities. This decision will not only protect the health of our children and communities, but it will also set a learning example of other districts across Maryland. We also want to highlight that there are grants opportunities available to support this transition, including funding through the Maryland Energy Administration grant for zero-emission school buses. These resources can cover the incremental cost of electric school buses and charging infrastructure and make the transition more feasible and equitable for the district. Chispa, Maryland, and our community partners are ready to support the board in any way possible to make this transition successful. We are committed to working with you to ensure that this initiative is effective, sustainable, and accessible for students. By acting now, Baltimore City can demonstrate its leadership in clean transportation and environmental justice and support children in reaching their full potential in life. Thank you for your time and for consideration this important step toward a healthier, cleaner, and more sustainable future for all our students. Thank you.
Next, we will have Sandra Martinez, leader with Maryland League of Conservation Voters, topic electric school buses. And I'm sorry. Thank you. No, you can come up. Please come. Do you need a translator? Okay. Can I call up the translator, Julietta Feldner? Thank you.
¿Quiere hablar usted o quiere que yo lo haga? Voy a hablar para que usted pueda. ¿Está bien?
Buenas tardes, miembro de la
evening.
Junta. Es un honor poderme dirigirme a ustedes.
Good evening. This is a high honor to be able to address myself to you.
Mi nombre es Sandra Martínez.
My name is Sandra Martinez,
Y soy una orgullosa residente de la ciudad de Baltimore
and I am a very proud resident of Baltimore City,
y madre de 5 hijos.
and I also am a mother of 5 children.
3 de mis hijos asisten a las escuelas públicas de la ciudad de Baltimore.
3 of my children assist to the Baltimore City Public Schools.
Uno de mis hijos está en la National Academic Foundation.
One of my children is at the National Academy Foundation.
Mi siguiente hijo está en William S. Baer School.
My next child attends William S. Baer School.
Y mi hija pequeña que anda acompañándome, que está en Highlandton Elementary.
And my youngest daughter, who's here with me tonight, she goes to Highlandton Elementary Middle.
Estoy aquí hoy porque me preocupa profundamente la salud de mis hijos.
I am here tonight because I'm very concerned about the health of my children.
El aire que respira.
The air that they breathe.
Una de mis hijas tiene una discapacidad.
One of my children has a disability.
Con frecuencia tiene dificultades para respirar,
and she very frequently has a difficulty to breathe,
lo que nos ha llevado varias veces a la sala de emergencia.
which many times we have to go to the emergency room.
Los autobuses escolares, dice, empeoran la situación.
The diesel buses that we have actually make the situation worse.
Sus emisiones son especialmente dañinas para los niños.
The emissions are especially very bad for the children,
Bueno, nuestros niños pequeños.
or especially our young children.
Y pueden provocar asmas y otros problemas respiratorios.
It can also cause asthma and other respiratory problems.
Desafíos que muchas familias en Baltimore enfrentan a diario.
Difficulties that many families in Baltimore have to face every day.
Yo soy una de ellas.
I am one of them.
Quiero agradecerles por el progreso logrado con los 25 autobuses.
I want also to thank you for the progress that you have made with the 25 buses that are electric now.
Perfecto. Es un gran comienzo, pero muchos niños, incluidos los míos, todavía viajan en autobuses diésel.
It is actually a very good beginning, but many of the children, including my own, they are still traveling in diesel buses.
Cada niño merece respirar aire limpio camino a la escuela.
Every child deserves to breathe clean air on their way to school.
Por eso les pido que den un paso valiente y necesario hacia la electrificación total de nuestra flota de autobuses escolares.
And that is why I'm asking you today that you please give a very important and the necessary resources to the electrification totally of the buses that we have in the school. Desarrollando.
Sí, gracias. Disculpe un momento. Un plan integral de implementación, uno que incluya un cronograma claro, recursos identificados y infraestructuras necesarias para hacer del transporte limpio y sin emisiones.
What I asked basically is a plan, an integral plan of implementation, one that actually includes a chronogram very clear, also resources that identify in the infrastructure that are necessary to make a clean transportation without emissions.
Una realidad para nuestros estudiantes y comunidades.
That will be a reality for our students and our community.
Existen oportunidades de financiamiento disponible a través de administraciones de energía de Maryland.
There are opportunities of financially that are available through the Administration of Energy from Maryland.
Que puedan ayudar a lograr esto sin quitar recursos a otras prioridades.
That can actually help to make this possible without taking these resources from other priorities.
Al adoptar esta resolución, ustedes pueden proteger la salud de nuestros niños.
As you actually take charge on this, the resolution, you can actually protect the health of our children.
Reducir la contaminación y demostrar que la ciudad de Baltimore está liderando el camino hacia un futuro más limpio.
In this way, you're going to reduce also the contamination, and you're also going to show that Baltimore City is actually taking leadership to a much better future and even more cleaner and a more healthy for all of our families.
Yes. Gracias por su tiempo y su compromiso con nuestros niños y con nuestra ciudad.
Thank you for your time and also for your leadership for our children and for our city.
Muchísimas gracias por dedicarme un tiempo
Thank you
para
very-
podernos escuchar.
Thank you very much for giving me the time that you can actually hear us.
Ms. Juliana, can you say?
Okay.
We have two more. All right, Martha Alina, I apologize, thank you so much.
Este, inglés.
Lo último, para resumirles.
Me trabajo mucho más.
Ajá, sí. Buenas tardes, miembros de la Junta.
Good evening, members of the meeting.
Gracias por darme la oportunidad de hablar con ustedes el día de hoy.
Thank you for giving me the chance to speak with you today.
Mi nombre es Marta Orellana
My name is Marta Orellana,
y me orgullece llamar a la ciudad de Baltimore mi hogar más de 16 años.
and it makes me very proud to call Baltimore City my home for almost 16 years.
Soy una madre de dos maravillosos hijos que el
Right.
día de hoy me acompañan,
I am a mother of two beautiful children that today are here with me tonight.
de 9 años y 13,
Their ages are 9 and 13.
y asisten a la escuela Hampton Hill Academy,
That they actually both attend Hampton Academy, Hampton Hill Academy.
Mi hijo menor tiene asma y autismo,
My youngest child has asthma and autism,
lo que me ha impulsado a abogar por una comunidad más saludable y sostenible para nuestros hijos.
which has driven me to advocate for a healthier, more sustainable community for all our kids.
También soy una promotora de justicia ambiental con Chispa, Maryland.
I am also an environmental justice with Chispa, Maryland,
Un programa de la Liga de Votantes por la Conservación de Maryland, Maryland League of Conversion Border.
It's a program of the Maryland League of Conversion Voters.
En este rol me enfoco de involucrar a la comunidad en temas como el cambio climático y la salud ambiental.
In this role, I focus on engaging the community on issues like climate change and environmental health issues that profoundly impact our children's lives.
Quisiera comenzar agradeciendo a los miembros de la Junta
I would like to start by thanking the board members
y los funcionarios del transporte
and also the transportation officials
por su liderazgo
for
y
your,
compromiso
for your leadership and commitment
para proteger la salud de nuestros niños.
to protect our children's health.
Hace 2 años su decisión de solicitar un programa de autobuses escolares limpios de la EPA
2 years ago, your decision to apply for the EPA
permitió a la ciudad de Baltimore obtuviera 25 buses escolares eléctricos,
this program enabled Baltimore City to secure 25 electric school buses.
Tuve el placer de asistir a la ceremonia
I had the pleasure to attend the ceremony
de estos autobuses a principios del año.
the ceremony of these buses earlier this year.
Y me alegra compartir que uno de ellos ahora transporta a mi hijo
And I am very happy to share with you that one of them now transports my son to school.
Me da una enorme tranquilidad saber que viaja en un autobús más saludable y seguro.
It gives me immense peace of mind knowing that he's riding in a healthier and safer bus.
Aire limpio.
Breathing clean air.
Cada niño de Baltimore City
Every,
merece la misma oportunidad de viajar en un autobús limpio y eléctrico.
every child in Baltimore deserves the same opportunity to ride in a clean electric bus.
Pero aunque hemos avanzado mucho,
But while we have come a long way,
todavía hay mucho más por hacer.
there is still so much more than we can do.
Hoy les insto a seguir avanzando y aprovechar al máximo las oportunidades de financiamiento disponibles.
I urge you to keep pushing forward by taking full advantage of current funding opportunities.
La Administración de Energía de Maryland, MEA,
The Maryland Energy Administration, MEA,
ha abierto sus programas para autobuses escolares eléctricos.
has actually opened their school, has actually opened the electric school bus programs.
Les respetuosamente le pido a la Junta Escolar aproveche estos fondos para ampliar nuestra flota de autobuses eléctricos.
I am asking you respectfully right now to please take advantage of these opportunities so we can have electric school bus programs.
Este compromiso es vital no solo para proteger nuestro medio ambiente, sino más importante aún para salvaguardar la salud y el bienestar de nuestros niños.
This step right now is vitally and very important, not only for our health, but also for the health of our children.
Juntos construimos un futuro más limpio
Together, let's build a cleaner,
y saludable
a healthier
para todas las familias de Baltimore.
for all the Baltimore families.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. We have
Our
someone.
next presenter is Andy Dequest.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, you got the, okay, thank you so much.
All right, hi. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Andy Diegas and I'm an eighth grade student at,
Well, you might got.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
My name is Andy Diegas. I'm an eighth grader at Hampstead Hill Academy with my brother in the back. He has autism and asthma, along with other students and other parents. We are supported by Chispa, Maryland, which has helped our family understand how diesel bus emissions harm our health. Children like my brother already struggle to breathe, and diesel fumes make it worse. About 20% of our children in Baltimore City have asthma, far above the national average. Diesel buses release pollutants that trigger asthma attacks, reduce lung function, and increase respiratory illnesses. That's why we are asking you to take a bold and necessary step toward fully electrifying our school buses fleet by developing a comprehensive implementation plan, one that includes a clear timeline, identified resources, and the infrastructure needed to make clean zero-emission transportation. Chispa, Maryland, and our community have collected over 200 postcards from parents and Baltimore City students asking for your support to take a bold and necessary step toward fully electrifying our bus fleet by developing a comprehensive implementation plan, one that includes a clear timeline. This is not just a handful of voices. This is the whole community speaking for our children's health. The choices you make today will shape the health and futures of thousands of Baltimore City students for over a decade. Every diesel bus purchase now will expose children to harmful air pollution for the next 10 to 12 years. Thank you for your time and your commitment to our health.
Thank you so much. That completes our public comment for this evening. I will turn it back to Chair Sally.
All right, thank you so much, Vice Chair, for leading tonight. Very much appreciate it. I'll now turn to items pulled on the, actually, before we go forward, just want to ask our board colleagues if there are any additional items that you guys would like removed before we proceed. Hearing none, I'd like to invite Chief Josh Sibbons to go over update and progress on board rules replacement project. This is item 9.03.
Hi, I'm Josh Sivan, Chief Legal Officer, and I'm here with Rebecca Burney, Special Advisor, the Chief Legal Officer, who's pulling up our presentation and is going to take the lead on this work, which has been a long-standing project to try to get us into making sure that we have all of our policies up to date and we are retiring old board rules. And I'm pleased to say overall we're making good progress in that. And I won't steal Rebecca's thunder by showing the progress that we've made.
And while Rebecca's pulling that up, thank you so much, Rebecca. I just want to make sure that the board has proper context for this item this evening. So following up on the progress on board rules, the board will be voting to ratify the non-substantive technical changes required to fully incorporate 10 board rules. The Office of Legal Counsel will recommend this evening. So we'll reconvene after this presentation.
Thank you. So just to start off, our board rules update. Board rules are aligned with all of our strategic priorities. They cover everything you can imagine having to do with the school district, dealing with our facilities, to the role of the Office of Legal Counsel, to the role of principals and whatnot. So we've said these are aligned with all of our strategic priorities. Just to provide some background for the commissioners and for the public, prior to the creation of our board policies and administrative regulations, city schools operated under 350 different board rules. These were often just sentences or paragraphs. Sometimes they were very comprehensive, other times they're very vague. And so in 2007, city schools made the decision to transition from having these individual board rules to having really comprehensive board policies. So then between 2007 and 2022, city schools incorporated 202 of the board rules into board policies. But this process had stagnated a little bit prior to 2022. And that is when the Office of Legal Counsel picked up this project and came up with a plan and a timeline to incorporate the remaining board rules into existing policies. And the reason, just to flag for everyone why this is such an important task, even though it's not a super exciting or thrilling thing to think about, is because we have many board rules that are not always aligned with current practice, and in some cases, actually not even aligned with law. And so when the board rules were created, that was a time before the internet where it was difficult to easily access what the law said about different aspects dealing with city schools. And so some of the board rules we found were actually just regurgitating state law, and state laws changed. And so what we found when we were doing this cleanup is that we had many board rules that had outdated laws. And so we really worked hard to make sure everything was updated when we began this project in 2022. This is just a quick overview of the process. So as I mentioned, this project began in January of 2022. We identified and summarized all of the outstanding board rules that had not been incorporated into board policies. We also, as I mentioned, analyzed relevant statutes. And we also looked to see if there were board policies or other areas of overlap where we could easily incorporate these board rules. We found policy homes for the remaining board rules and also highlighted outdated board rules and those that could be their own separate policies. We spent quite a bit of time collaborating with all of the relevant offices throughout the district to determine whether the remaining rules should be deleted, if they were still relevant, or if we could incorporate them into an already existing policy. So this is a quick overview. When we began this project in 2022, there were 148 active board rules out of the original 350. Between January and July, we were able to find 11 board rules that had actually already been replaced by board policies, but there just needed to be a website update to reflect that change. And we also incorporated 7 additional board rules into policies between April of 2022 and July of 22. So we went to the board with our first big update in August of 2022. There were only 138 rules remaining. We provided our next update to the board in August of 2023. That was actually our last update to the full board, which was 2 years ago. So at that time, there were 130 remaining rules. At that meeting and on August 23rd, we encouraged the board to repeal or ratify as being replaced by policies by board vote, which we're also asking you to do today. But so in the August 2022 meeting, there were 40 rules that we were able to eliminate because they had been repealed, or sorry, the board voted that they should be repealed or replaced. These were rules that were outdated statutes or things that were no longer aligned with current practice. And then between September of 2022 and August of 2023, there were an additional 11 rules that we incorporated into board policies. So at our last update to this board, there were only 73 remaining active board rules. Between August of 2023 and this past August, so over those 2 years, we successfully incorporated 53 board rules into board policies. And as of today, there are only 20 more active board rules remaining. This is just a quick overview of some of the rules that were incorporated in fiscal year 24. For board members, if you look at the appendix, it will go into more detail about which specific rules these were. But 17 board rules were incorporated during fiscal year 24. Many of them were incorporated into board policy ADF, 8 rules, which is our policy on wellness, nutrition, and physical activity. 6 of the rules were also incorporated into policy GBN. In fiscal year 25, we incorporated 36 board rules into board policies. The bulk of these were actually incorporated into board policy DIC, which is our policy on financial controls. So we're coming to you today with sort of 2 categories of board rules for the remaining 20 that we have left. So we are actually in the process of incorporating 19 of these board rules into board policies during this current fiscal year. And then there's 1 board rule that we are recommending board action to repeal because it is no longer relevant. And it is also inconsistent with current city schools protocols, and it overlaps with Maryland law. So the first category, these are the 19 board rules that are in process of being incorporated into board policies. 12 of these board rules will actually form an entirely new policy that we'll bring to the board later this year about school management support. And then 2 of the board rules we are actually planning to incorporate into board policy GBEH, which is our policy on legal representation. And if you want to learn more about these 2 board rules and our plans to incorporate them into this policy, you do not have to wait too long because this is going to policy committee next week. This is just a quick overview that breaks down all the specific board rules that we're planning to incorporate into policies during this year. Also, the board members should have a spreadsheet with the text of the rules as well. Okay. And then the second category, there's 1 board rule that we are recommending the board vote to repeal because it overlaps with Maryland law, as well as current board policies VBA and BDC. This is board rule 201.04. And it details the members of the Chief Executive Officer's cabinet. In addition to it not being aligned with current practice, there's actually a number of positions that are dictated by Maryland law that report directly to the CEO. So, for example, Maryland law requires that there be a chief financial officer as well as a chief academic officer. And so we just want to make sure that what we have is consistent with state law. And so we're recommending that we repeal this board rule. And there are a number of technical fixes that we are also recommending the board take action to ratify. These are rules that have already been substantively incorporated into existing policies. This is really rules that we found as part of our cleanup process. So over the past 20-some years, there hasn't always been consistency in how board rules are incorporated. So for example, currently our practice is to list all of the board rules in the policy that have been incorporated. Unfortunately, in the past, some of these board rules were listed in the administrative regulation. And so some of these fixes are just moving the board rule number to the policy from the reg. There are other board rules where it was reflected on the website that these board rules had been incorporated into policy, but that was not necessarily reflected in the policy itself. And so we are recommending that the board recognize that there are small substantive fixes small technical fixes that we need to make, but all of these board rules have already been substantively incorporated. And again, this is really just to ensure alignment and consistency and streamline how we're reflecting board rules that have been incorporated. And then this is just a quick chart of the specific board rules that we're recommending technical fixes for. And so our recommended next steps. So first, we are recommending board action to repeal 1 board rule because no longer relevant and it's not consistent with city schools protocols. It also overlaps with Maryland law and existing board policy. We're also recommending board action to ratify that 10 board rules have already been substantively incorporated into existing policy, but technical fixes are required. If the board takes the recommended action, there will only be 19 remaining board rules. And we are expected to complete this project by October of 2026. So I hope that when I come back to you in a year, I will be sharing an update that there are no longer any board rules we need to be concerned about. So this went to policy committee on August 19th, and today we're presenting to you for the full board. So at this time, I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
Throw it out to any of my board colleagues who may have questions on information presented this evening. And I believe our policy chair is virtual, so I just want to see it. I don't think she has anything additional to add, but in case she does before we vote. So since Board Rule 201-04 is inconsistent with current practice and overlaps with Maryland law and board policies BBA and BDC, I move that the board repeal Board Rule 201-04 in accordance with board policy BGF. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Coy.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Redding Lollinger. Not sure if he's joined us yet. Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. Thank you, and I'm in favor. This motion passes. I also move to ratify that the 10 board rules flagged by the Office of Legal Counsel have already been substantively incorporated into board policies and administrative regulations and approve the technical fixes required to ensure accuracy and consistency across all of our policies. Do I hear a motion to accept the proposed changes? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger?
Yes.
Commissioner Chicas Guzman?
Yes.
Commissioner Coy?
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff,
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
and Commissioner Slater Harrington. And I'm in favor. This motion passes. I want to thank the Office of Legal Counsel as well as our policy committee for their work and sustained work on these efforts here to keep us moving forward as a board and as a community here in Baltimore City. So thank you. Thank you. All right. Returning to our consent agenda this evening, is there a motion to approve the remaining consent agenda items?
So move, Parker.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Chicas Guzman.
Thank you. All in favor, just one moment. I just need to get myself organized. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Coy.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. And I'm also in favor. This motion passes. Thank you. That takes us to the very end of our meeting tonight. It's a very short meeting. I want to thank our public for joining us. Just a notice of upcoming meetings. Our Operations Committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Our Policy Committee meeting will be held at same day in the afternoon at 4 p.m. on October 28th. Our next public board meeting will be held on November 4th at 6 p.m. Preceding that will be our executive session at 3:30 p.m. Our teaching and learning will reconvene on November 11th. Safety and wholeness, November 13th, 2025 will be held on site. Actually, I want to turn it over to Commissioner Mohammed right quick. Do you want to lift up safety and wholeness?
Sure. During this month's Safety and Wholeness Committee, we had the pleasure to review the ongoing work to address student attendance, because every seat filled is a future filled. We examined our district's compliance policy with JFE, which protects the rights of students experiencing homelessness, and the policy JFBB, which ensures support for our youth in state supervised care. These policies are not just about procedure, they are promises to stand with our most vulnerable. Finally, we gained valuable insight from the University of Maryland's mental health program, providing and supporting us to reimagine what collaboration around wholeness looks like for city schools. In all, It was a reminder that safety is not just about the absence of harm, but the presence of care. Our next community meeting, because that's exactly what it will be, Safety and Wholeness will be meeting at Dorothy Height Elementary on November the 13th in person. So we invite you all out to join us for Safety and Wholeness.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Commissioner Mohammed. I also want the public to know this will be posted on our website if it's not already there. On November 12th, we'll be having a special public board meeting to cover the annual review introduction. That will be virtual at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Commissioner Chicas Guzman, did you want to say anything about ASCBC General Assembly? I know it was lifted up earlier on the 17th.
Hi, everyone. Just to let everybody know, the ASCBC General Assembly has been moved from, instead of it being next Monday, until November 17th.
And that will be at the Professional Development Center. We're looking forward to that. Commissioner Slater-Harrington.
He's trying to get out of here and miss out on the most important report of the night, teaching and learning. That's why we're here, guys. Okay, anyways, good evening, everyone. I'd like to share an update from Teaching and Learning Committee. Our recent meeting, we had a conversation centered on how professional learning is becoming better aligned across the district. Teachers are engaging in cycles of purposeful planning, classroom discourse, and strengthening writing, all designed to help students think more deeply and communicate more clearly. We also discussed the vital role of our coaches and school success liaisons. We gave a shout out to principals because it was National Principals Day or Month. They're the ones walking alongside our school success liaisons, are the ones walking alongside our principals and teachers every day, helping to translate district goals into classroom practice. From our new Educator Summer Institute, we heard about encouraging feedback from teachers who value the collaboration and practical strategies they received. They've also asked for more dedicated time to practice and plan. And finally, we reflected on this work and how it connects directly to teacher retention and, most importantly, student success. As we prepare for new shifts in professional learning for the next school year, we remain focused on making sure every teacher feels supported and every student benefits.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Slater-Harrington, and thank you so much to the entire Teaching and Learning Committee. Any other announcements or anything else my board colleagues would like to lift up before we adjourn? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater-Harrington. Is there a second?
Second, Chicas Guzman.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Adjourn. See you all soon.